everyone. I think we're live on the channel. I could be wrong. Let's wait and see. Have a look at the TV, and it started.
I just got to notice that we've gone live, though
Nice.
it's showing a Modern Horizons logo on it. But we'll.
It's so hard to change that, honestly.
I know.
All right, there we go. All right, we're at least live now. We're at least live.
Yep.
So I'm Chris. That's Joe. That's Ryan. This is our game room. How you guys doing today?
Well rested after watching the MOD live cast there. Got myself a little nap in.
A little nappy.
Yep.
Oh my god. Okay.
Actually, I'm gonna break K-fob here for a second, folks. I know I have a bit of a thing going on between myself and the MOD guys, but they're hitting their 2-year anniversary. They've got some renewals coming up, some fees to keep their sites and all the lights on, and so as such they're running a raffle. So I've already bought my raffle tickets. I'm trying to get that wooden spoon. I want one of the 6 that are in existence. But
has Andy gotten all the 6 in his?
No. They listed off who has all of them. There's 5 people that currently have them. One was still using a paper mat. Didn't actually have a real play mat, but the 6th one is up in the auction. But no, anyone who's watching this, go to BritRoller6.com. They've got all the info on making donations to them. My only request is keep your donations below the $2.50 or €2.50, so that you don't get entered into the raffle. Donate the money, just don't get entered into the raffle, so that I can try to win that spoon. So.
Oh my god.
Or you could just, challenge them to a duel.
I have. How many times have I sat here and asked for a match between them? No, they'd rather get drunk.
Spoon duel.
Well, I mean, by the time you're ready to duel, it's already their evening, so there's a good chance they're ready to get drunk. No, I can agree and add amendments to what you just said, Ryan. Happily support them in all their endeavors because they're one of the better ones.
Yeah. I kind of I'm a little shook here knowing that you broke character to do that. I kind of wish you hadn't done that. I kind of feel ashamed to be on the channel now. No.
It was so bad Joe had to turn his camera off,
Oh.
Oh, okay. I'll make it up next week, guys. All right. I'll come back with some sort of rant on something.
Some spiciness. So yeah. It just kind of threw me off. All right.
Support the gentleman at Ministry of Dice.
Yeah.
Several of us have been guests on their podcast or have helped them in one way or another with collaboration, and they've helped us out a lot by advertising our tournaments throughout these past few months. So,
yeah.
And then there's just me who just keeps on giving them a hard time. So
Oh my god. So...
I'll get my match one of these days.
Okay.
Hey, if you're not doing phone nets either.
Nope.
Oh yeah, that's this Saturday, isn't it?
What's this Saturday?
Oh, I think we're gonna be busy.
Yep.
We might be a little bit.
We might be able to watch it while we're but
Probably.
That's about it.
But our meeting got delayed from last week, so we're doing it this upcoming weekend. Little known fact. But other than that, this week we're going to be talking about a little bit of the U.S. Nats and how that went down, and hopefully Ben will jump on here and talk about what went on with it, and how he felt about it. So,
well, before we jump into the Nats list, I'd like to touch base on the Fan Appreciation Night spoilers. Looks like 2020's the return of draft packs.
Yeah.
So there's no new announced campaign sets. Everything new announced is moving to draft pack. So we might have 1 or 2 of the campaign sets that were originally supposed to come out this year get shuffled over to 2020. But everything else that's coming out, the new stuff is all draft packs. So
I thought it was everything up to WWE is still being done in campaigns, and then everything post WWE is draft packs.
that's what it is. Now the other interesting little tidbit that I think has gone under a lot of people's radar is we had a last minute change out in pricing. We lost the foil Venerable Dreadnought, and the reason being that there were licensing issues. And you also notice there's been no spoilers on the next Warhammer set. So are we
outside of the current team pack that they have for Tau and the campaign box that they had for Necromunda, I think.
Right, but they announced those, but now we haven't seen any spoilers out of them, and now they're talking there's licensing issues, So we, some food for thought there. We might have, Warhammer might become the next Yu-Gi-Oh with only the one release.
That's unfortunate because that's actually I've been listening to a lot of their lore stuff, and I'm telling you, man, that's something
you could sink your teeth into it and just single IP it, just like you could do with the D&D. I mean, single IP and D&D is a fantastic way to play. I love it, So, it's sad to hear, but again, that's one of those things that it's been flying under the radar on a lot of the things that have been talking about, is the fact that we lost all the pricing on Warhammer and we haven't gotten any spoilers for Warhammer. Fan Appreciation had a bunch of spoilers for everything else, so
let's just hope they get that cleared up and not just it just goes away, because I think Warhammer was kind of a home run for them, and I think that might be the issue. Is it was more of a home run than Dice Masters or WizKids thought, and Warhammer 40K.
Yeah, I mean, and again, we're not high up in the food chain. We can't, we don't know what licensing issues they're talking about or anything like that. So hopefully it's just hey, you used artwork you weren't supposed to use. You got to pay us extra amount, to use that or something like that. Who knows? But if it's something bigger than that, then yeah, we may be looking at like another Yu-Gi-Oh situation.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of depressing a little bit, but then again, I'm sure they'll get it sorted out, and it sounds like they're trying to do things more for what we want and what everyone that plays the game wants. So
yeah, I mean they they're bringing back draft, which and any of the golden players is what I'll call them, those that played for a long time. Draft was one of their favorite ways to play, and we got draft packs, we got 2 sets of them, and now we've gone to an LCG model. Sorry, no draft. And it's like, what? So it's nice to see that they are listening to that, and they are, responding to that. I wish it wasn't a all or nothing, but full art cards included in the draft packs.
That's amazing.
We're not going foil, but we're getting full art, and so
of the basic actions. It should be noted only of the basic actions.
No, basic actions and others. They did say. So all of the basic actions will be full art, and then I think they said it was 3 other cards in the draft pack will be full art as well.
Talking to PK, what he said to me the day after at Origins was that 5 of the basic actions will be full art with no text. That's it.
Right.
Okay. Still, I think anytime.
And the ones that are without text are like ones that have been around since basically the very beginning.
Right.
Yeah, they're reprints. They're full-on reprints.
I wish they would do that more often with reprints, because I think as a whole the community knows what they are, as long as you could search them online, which, I mean, we have a great resource for searching stuff online at the Dice Coalition and apps.
But also, my perception was that they'd be like chase rares, like they would be pretty rare. So
yeah,
they're like, you have the regular card anyway, so it wouldn't make a difference. If you get a chase rare, you're likely to have got the regular version.
Rare. Right.
Many times over before.
Yeah.
I like that over them printing more super rare characters that are harder to get.
Yeah.
And they jack up the prices in the market.
Yeah. I think just foil versions or full art is just the way to go, honestly. But Hello, Ben. How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I can't complain. So how was your trip?
Really cool. Yeah, I liked it a lot. Origins was not my favorite con, but pretty good. Columbus was really good for food.
Yeah.
Who knew? Who knew Ohio had it in it?
Well,
I used to live there for a while. I could have told you that one, but depends on the part of Ohio you're in.
Well,
Yeah.
I went to, where did I go? I stayed in Erie. I stayed in Cleveland. I stayed in Ohio, and I stayed in Monroe.
was it
As
Erie?
long as you stay away from Skyline Chili, you're okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I had Jenny's ice cream, and it's the best ice cream of all time. So come fight me.
Come fight you. For
Goat's cheese and cherry ice cream. I'm telling you.
Girl,
There-
please.
there's
Sorry,
a lot-
Rob's not going to be here.
There's a
tonight.
lot of good ice cream shops up in Ohio. I can attest to that.
Jenny's, I don't know. It's probably like a super hipster location. I'm like, but to me it was cool. And they have Jimmy John's, which they don't have like anywhere outside of the Midwest, and that's my favorite sandwich place. So
Really? They have
Jimmy John's is
We
the
have-
best food.
We have it down here.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're like Midwest. You're like West.
We're central.
fine. Midwest is not like West, is it?
We're South Central, boy.
Okay,
Represents.
Sure.
So how was your quest to dominate the world?
Failed miserably.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
wouldn't say miserably, but you know.
It was.
It's
fine.
been second place is a failure.
First
Yeah.
If
and
you're not
last.
first, you're dead last. There you go.
I was pretty salty for like about 30 seconds. Well, maybe longer. No, I was really salty when I lost. Like that last game, I was really mad. But then I realized it was kind of.
Salty, were you?
No, I threw my bag at Arj. No, I didn't. I didn't know. I think I was alright. I was alright actually. Arj is a good player, so it's fine to lose against him, I suppose. And it was kind of, I don't know. I think I did the right team, and I just didn't play it right in the final. The only game I didn't play right was the final game of the finals, so which lost me it, right? But yeah, it was a good experience overall. I don't know if I deserved. Anyone who had an Aston team had the best team, and I think anyone of me, Nick, or Lucan who were running the Aston team could have probably got to where I was. I just got the better drawers, I guess.
I mean, the point is they didn't, and you did. So
Sure, but me and Nick had a really close game, and like it really, really, really could have gone either way, and we were both kind of like letting each other go back on misplays and stuff. So
takesies, backsies. Oh,
yeah, but it was a really good event. Everyone there was super nice, and everyone there was pretty good. Everyone I played was a pretty even game, apart from the only team that I found particularly easy to play against was the guy I played in the semi-finals, which was Dane, who's a super good player, and it was just a really bad matchup for him. Every other match was really close. So there was no dominant team, which is a good experience. And then, yeah, everyone's really cool. So there's that.
well,
I enjoyed it.
I'm gonna transition over to the team list.
Yeah, sure.
Well, during the Swiss rounds, how many we had? What, 28 or 20? How many
27,
players?
I think.
27.
I think there was a buy. There was a buy.
All right, here we go.
And Origins itself was really cool. We played a bunch of games on the Friday night before Nats. I was up really late with Anna playing like really heavy Euro games. So that was really fun. And then Saturday night, I had a great time with Nick and Mike. I made them stay up really late playing Scythe, which is kind of fun.
That's one that
Yeah,
I want to play on Tabletop Simulator. I have it on there. I just haven't played it. So
Well, if we find out what's happening with WizKids, and I would love to play that game as much as I can. So we should play it in person, maybe. Maybe that'd be cool.
yeah, we'll have to find
Maybe.
time
If you
to
can
do
make the
that.
trip down to Memphis.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking about it. Well, I'm talking to DM Armada, who's thinking about it as well.
Yeah, he was trying to get a couple of us down here to pitch in for a road trip because it's only
Yeah,
7
we do a road
hours.
trip and then do like an Airbnb.
So are you gonna fly in, or are you gonna
Yeah, no,
fly
I'd-
down here and then?
Yeah, I'd fly somewhere, wherever's cheapest, because don't have any money after Origins. I spent a lot of it on on games. I shouldn't really, because I have to take them back to the Yuko. I know I don't. Most of the games I bought are like expendable, like escape room games. So got to get them all played.
All right. Well,
Sorry, board gaming talk.
It's all right. It's all right.
You can't see. I've got a whole bunch of them all throughout over there. So yes, I agree.
I have a sad lack of them with me here. I have only 20 games with me, which is not enough.
Oh man.
Oh wow, your library at home is bigger.
Yeah, I sold before I moved to Canada, I sold 150 games.
Wow.
Hopefully with the whole entire tariff thing about to go down, I hope games aren't going to be really hard to come by soon.
I mean, they will everywhere outside of the States.
Yeah. Well, the United States, we import them from
China.
So,
or Europe.
Yeah. Well, mostly China, so. And that would affect most of the newer games coming out.
It depends what comes. I imagine, well, I'm not getting into politics. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm just saying. So.
Mini games will move to someone like Reaper and who does all their stuff here in the States and get around it that way, and
well,
the price tag will go up, but everyone will figure it out, and there you go.
Hopefully it gets
kind of. Yeah, okay. Yep, never mind. Yes. Politics.
So on with the top 8 review.
All right. Here we go. All right. So number 8 team was Nick W. He had that Clayface, Billy Club, Psylocke, the Atom, Shriek, Storm. I can't read what that is. That Atom?
Yeah, Atom.
Yeah, Atom, Shriek, Storm, Rare, Atlas, Scarlet Witch, Static Field, Energy Field. Yeah, this is the team I stole, basically.
Well, you had the difference of, instead of in the place of Psylocke, you had Mimic, which is actually a really good call, I believe.
I had Danny Moonstar. So basically, the difference is with my team, which we'll get on to, I put Danny Moonstar in, I put Mimic, the 4-cost in, and I put the 2-cost Storm in rather than the 3-cost Storm. Next team, unashamedly, I stole this team. I don't really have any defense against it. I played basically, when we were testing one night, I played against Nick a couple of times with some of the teams that I've been thinking about, having not really given Atom any kind of credit, and then played against Nick's team, and he had it just really flowing really well. I was just like, can't beat it, so I might as well play it.
Yeah.
And then the main crux of the team differences was basically our cheap 2-cost mask. So when he was testing that night, he was running the Grey Hunter. And I don't really like the Grey Hunter. I don't like 2 costs with 2 fielding, basically, ever. And he also found that, right? So he changed to Psylocke, which is a clever idea because you can energize, make use of the fact you're rolling double masks. Billy Club makes a mask, which is useful. I just don't really like giving that to my opponent unless I have a specific need to make masks. But maybe that would have helped me in the final game against Arj. But yeah, no, next team's really solid. My game against him was basically 1, rolls, 2, the fact that he let me take back a rather major misplay. And I made slightly less misplays than him, maybe. I don't know. It was just luck. That game was just luck and who had got what. I will say that I think his choice of the 3-cost Storm rather than the 2-cost Storm helped him against me anyway in the mirror match, because that was another form of removal, whereas Mimic didn't really work as well as the Storm in my matchup against him. I don't know. His team was a bit more controlly, I guess. My team was a bit more aggressively KOing people.
Yeah, what I noticed the difference between your team and his, and we'll get to yours later, is that his team is focused, whereas yours has a backup win con or something to pivot to.
Yeah, sure. He kind of sacrificed that to put in like Scarlet Witch, right, and Billy Club. So he made his a bit more consistent, and then went for a bit more control-y stuff. Whereas, I went with Danny, and Danny gave you a second out win condition, which is something that I'd been concerned with not having in, especially like the Gold Dragon team.
So would you say that Nick's team, when it goes off big, but when it doesn't, it's kind of just...
No, it's pretty consistent. I mean, he only lost to me, right? And I think if he'd beaten me, he would have got through to the final as well, because the semi-final, when we see the semi-final team, it was a really favorable matchup for us. So I don't know. Yeah, his team was equally as good as mine. I think he probably would have changed to Danny and Doomlance just to give him a second option. I don't think Psylocke worked particularly well for him, but I would have changed the Storm. So I think there was bits of both our teams which could have been amalgamated to make them better.
Well, I mean, he had to sacrifice room because you chose to do Kate Bishop, the promo Kate Bishop, whereas he chose to put Static Field in that place.
Yeah.
And he would have eventually had to have given up his Storm slot and his Billy Club slot to make room for the Danny Moonlance combo. So
Well, yeah, I mean, if it was, so we can get on to what we change, I guess, but yeah, the Kate Bishop, because of the promo, gives you another out against Shriek, which is really good.
Yeah.
I guess Billy Club does the same, so I don't know.
I think Static Field has its bonuses that it can't be blanked, whereas Kate Bishop...
Yeah, that's true. The other thing I will say is I'd never used Doomlance Danny one time. I think I tried to use it against Arj in the first game of the finals, but that was the first time I'd bought Doomlance. So.
The entire tournament?
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next one.
So Atom was super effective by itself. So.
All right, the next one is Junior, and Junior was champion last year at US Nets, correct?
Yeah, I played him in the first round this year.
And he had Common Yanti, Pseudo Dragon, Uncommon Cosmic Cube. This is kind of similar to his team last year, in a way.
Yeah, I don't think to be honest, from just talking to him when we played our match, he hadn't really played. So he just went with what was comfortable to him. I went first, bought 2 of his investigations that kind of slowed him down.
Because of Clayface, yeah.
No, I mean, I turn 1, I bought investigation. Turn 2, he bought investigation. Turn 3, I bought investigation. It was something like that. I don't think we both went spammed investigation. I think he wanted to buy them with Cosmic Cube, right, to make the most out of it. And then by the time he got around to buying them, I was just ramping way faster than him. And Atom, I think my Atom missed the first time, so it took a little bit longer. But this team is just a lot slower than it was without Super A Anti. He also missed Gold Dragon, which could have swung through a couple of times. But yeah, he's a really good player. He was rusty against me, which helped as well. But in general, I don't think the common Yanti holds much ground, especially in this meta where Static Field is literally everywhere. So he was having to rely on kind of the Gold Dragon swing and the attune pings a lot more heavily than he probably would have liked.
So I wanted to touch on something you said about Junior. So people often in competitive card games, they tend to do that. They tend to gravitate towards the archetype or the play style that fits them best.
Sure.
And they tend to rely on the classics. The same thing happens with Magic a lot or Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon is when there's a newer cards for the same format, people will just go, okay, well, I'll just use this version of that. And that's what it looked like whenever at first glance, I was like, oh, okay, Junior's going for something that he's familiar with. It's a little less consistent and a little tuned down. Like you said, it's slower. I like how he used the Gold Dragon to pivot. Some of these choices I wouldn't have gone with, though, like the Green Devil Mask or the Billy Club. I probably wouldn't have gone with
it was just the better way to. He really wanted to use that Cosmic Cube, I guess. He that did well for him last year, and he really wanted to make use of that. And what do you do? How do you use Cosmic Cube if you don't have actions on your team, right? Billy Club helped me, sure. But I can see why he put those in because they're both effective removal, kind of. They're not that great in this meta, but they're okay. And yeah, I don't know. I just blanked Yanti and didn't really. He didn't really cause me too many problems. But he's a super good player, and that's, I guess, why he advanced to the top 8 with not a great team. So
he did it with skill.
Yeah,
it's more skill than what he was working with.
And a Mohawk
yeah, for sure. Yeah, cool blue Mohawk.
Yeah, I'm not dogging Junior at all. He's a great player. So yeah, it's just the way he chose things, it kind of, was like, oh, okay, he's going with what he knows because he probably didn't have a lot of practice or.
For sure, and I can't remember what he did. he did something in the first couple of turns against me, and I was like, that's a bit weird. I can't remember what it was, but it was just a bit of rust, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So he obviously got his purchase order down a bit better. But yeah, against me, he bought like a ton of cosmic cubes. That didn't really help him too much because I blanked Yanti. So he was doing like one ping a time. He bought Pseudo Dragon really late, I think. Maybe that was it. But I don't know. It did a good amount of damage to me, but I didn't really feel that threatened by it. I also am really pretty familiar with both of this kind of like team. And Gold Dragon didn't really hold any fear for me with Atom.
For a while there, the online tournament scene, it was Yanti, Cube, and a few other things were just dominating. And so, I mean, you've played against a bunch of that.
Sure, I mean, that was the anti-super rare as well, which is nowhere near.
Yeah.
And
This is nowhere near that.
That was also pre-Black Widow, promo Black Widow. Like, she still shuts it down pretty hard.
Yeah, that card, I don't think I played that against that one time. Oh, I did, but no one ever bought it. I don't know. The Black Widow is only okay.
Yeah, because there was only what, two or there's one or two in the entire.
Ryan, you're not going to talk smack to anyone right now?
No, I'm not.
All right. Moving on to the next one. Let me see. All right. Mike P. He's got the Super Rare Jubilee, Phantom Stranger, Madam Mask, he's got the Madams. Wolfguard Terminator.
What a great choice.
So do we just call this team
I love
the
that
Brothel?
card.
The Brothel. I like that. Then Bishop, Common, Scarlet Witch, Shriek, Haymaker. That's the kind of gold I'm looking for from Ryan. Did you play against Mike's team, Ben?
No, I didn't. You know what's really funny about this team is, so I took a binder. I took a small binder with me, with all my actions in case I decided to draft, and like my team, and then like a couple of additional pieces that I thought about maybe like adding one to my like 5th, 8th slot or whatever. And Mike's team is basically all those cards, like all the cards. I was like, oh, maybe I should put in as like a bonus. Like instead of Mimic, I could put in Madam Mask, or maybe Madam Web as a second, like, or Bishop maybe, or Scarlet Witch. Like these are literally all the cards I had in my binder, just like being like, yeah, maybe I'd slot them in last minute if like I heard some stuff was happening.
Some rumblings in the con.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, what a cool little list. Really random. I don't know how he won. Madam Web, I guess. Just
Madam
like control everything, and then Madam Web team up.
Yeah, pretty much. No, I really like the Wolfguard Terminator.
I love that.
A
Yeah,
lot.
it's really a cool card. Yeah, for sure.
Because it's like anti-range, it's anti-Phantom Stranger tech, which is super neat.
Well, it's anti like big swingy characters, right?
Yeah, it's really great.
It's anti everyone else's fun.
Unfortunately, there wasn't any fix it. The Wolfguard Terminator would have been really good against that. And then I like it. It's cool.
It's
surprising.
Good against Gold Dragon also.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, for sure. It's one of those pieces along with like Arnim Zola in case they bring. But then I put Kate Bishop on the team, so I don't really need it. But yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. It's cool. It just doesn't seem very considered. It just seems like he just chose 10 good cards, and was just like, oh yeah, these are good.
Yeah.
I don't know the flow of the team. I wouldn't mind hearing from someone who played against him to know what his purchase order or what his like main pieces were. I guess you just get Jubilee out, get Shriek out, and then choose what control piece you want, and then
get Madam Mask and team
Madam Web and team up. Yeah.
I mean, I just have nightmares of Bishop because I played against you with it a few times when I was playing my Attune team, and it's just like you just bought as many as you possibly could of Bishop, and it's like I couldn't do anything, so I hate that card.
Yeah, maybe I should have put Bishop in my Atom build. That would have probably, I mean, that would have killed a bunch of teams because if you could get him out, he would have been really strong in the meta at US Nats because everyone was running ping teams. It was pinging all day, and not a lot of like, so like Attune was good against Bishop, right? Because you could still ping out Bishop, but like Iceman, Atom, Nobby don't really have a way to target characters.
Right. So once Bishop is out there, you're stuck.
They have to attack.
or they have to waste their Shriek on Bishop. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, which I'll take that any day of the week.
yeah, for sure.
So
Hmm.
yeah, I personally hate Bishop because of the times I've played with you, and you just
Yeah,
smack
it's
me
really
around.
strong. It's probably got a lot stronger since Suanti Super Rare got banned as well.
Yeah,
And then Madam Mask is probably really strong as well.
yeah.
It'd be kind of cool to run Madam Mask with like that Mimic so you can carry stuff. Because you don't really have a way of carrying, particularly. I guess you swing with Madam Web. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably Madam Web.
Cool list, good, all just good pieces. They're all good by themselves.
Together though, don't know. All right.
It's kind of cool just being like, oh, I have good pieces, and I'll just choose what I buy based on what you're running.
Yeah. All right.
Very reactionary style team.
Yeah, I like it.
All right. Next one is Ben C or Doppelganger Ben. We'll call him that because it's not Ben.
Ben Chaplin, something like that. Sorry, Ben.
So he has Chwinga, Iceman,
Mhm.
Hulk, Shriek, Mjolnir, the Atom, Ring of Winter, Clayface, Resurrection, and the old trusty Magic Missile.
So I played Ben in round 4.
Techno, Chris. It's Techno.
Techno,
That's
yeah.
Techno, not Adam.
Ah, my bad.
Yeah, so I played Ben in round 4 of Swiss, and it was really, really close. He almost had me, and he did this team really, really fast. I mean, we both had Clayface, right? So we were I was pulling in the bar mask, he's putting in loads of bolts. And actually, this team kind of does well against Atom because you can ping out Atom or ping out the control pieces. Luckily for me, this was the game where the 2-cost Storm worked well. That was kind of the reason I chose the 2-cost Storm over the 3-cost Storm, was so that I had my own source of cheap bolts. So I would just bring in Storm and be able to ping him back, which kind of stopped his Iceman a little bit. He got he went for Hulk, which it's a great move if you can pull it off. And apparently in some of the other games, he got like Hulk Iceman out like by turn 4 or something.
Wow.
And yeah, I think the people he wrecked, wrecked. And then just with me and him, it was just really close, and that's why best of ones kind of suck. Because he probably could have had me a couple of. If we played another game, he could have probably had me, and then it would have been a straight shootout turn 3. The fact that he has Techno, Mjolnir, and Clayface, just means the number of bolts he was getting was just ridiculous.
Was the whole entire thing best of 1?
Just for Swiss, right? And then you go to top 8.
Swiss was best of 1. Top 8 is best 2 out of 3.
That's what they do at all the American convention tournaments, which is stupid. But...
Yeah, I'd much rather have a best of 2 or a best of 3. Best of 2, one person wins. It's over. But yeah.
Well, when you're playing against me, Chris.
Oh, shut up.
But yeah, no, I think Iceman's a really great team. It's one of the teams that I thought about running. It's probably one of the teams that will do really well for a number of tournaments to come because it's so fast. The Atom just wins at better times than Iceman wins. You don't have to necessarily go into an attack step, and you can win on your opponent's turn a lot more consistently than Iceman. But yeah, this team has a ton of space. You probably don't need Mjolnir, Techno to run it, and you probably don't need Ring of Winter and Hulk. So there's a couple of pivot spots you could add in that I might do, but he was really focused on winning with Iceman as quick as possible, and he was winning pretty fast. So
they seem like a very loaded. I think maybe Kree Captain would have been pretty good on the team, but then again, you're mixing up the cohesiveness of the lightning bolt.
For sure, and you could drop maybe Ring of Winter for Kree Captain if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. His was like what he was solely focused on getting Iceman out as fast as possible, pinging him to death, winning, and this is what it's good for. But it doesn't...
I actually really like that Mjolnir works as a setup / control piece as well, a removal tool. Because with Hulk out, you can Mjolnir and ping out your stuff too, and get the damage off of Hulk, as well as get rid of the opponent's control pieces.
Sure, and it's an okay pivot for that. Just for me, I would have liked to have seen like a different way of winning. So Iceman and Hulk are really similar, both super effective if you can get them both out. But if someone has a bishop or something, what's your like pivot around bishop?
Oh yeah, I completely agree.
What's your kind of like Danny Doomlance kind of alternate strategy, which is what I'd look for if I was building this. Just to make it more consistent, and which is something I think you need. But I don't know. I was really surprised I didn't have to play him in the semi-final. Dane did a great job beating him in the semi-finals, in the quarterfinals. Sorry. And this is a super tough team, so yeah, it's really cool. And this is probably one to, if you want to build a team from US Nats, this would be one I'd consider running.
Super focused.
Yeah, just to get you to know this is how Iceman works, this is how Clayface works. This is a good one for that.
All right, moving on to the next one. All right, so this is said Dane. Came in 4th place. He has Billy Club, Professor X, Clayface, Black Widow, Shriek, Hawkgirl, Catwoman, Green Lantern, Villainous Pact, and Static Field.
So Boobalicious finally makes her appearance in the top 8.
Yeah, so I played Dane twice. I played him in the semi-final and in the 5th round of 5 of Swiss. And that means that the only team we lost against was my team all day.
Oh.
That's painful.
Yeah. It's just a really, really bad matchup for him. I mean, don't give Atom, Billy Club, Professor X, and another Clayface.
Yeah.
Like, it's just it's just not a good like combination. And I don't know. It's difficult for me to comment on this team. I know he was saying that he'd probably change out Catwoman. I thought Catwoman was kind of a weird choice, but it gives him a second source of mask, which is cool. I think he probably would have gone for Danny as well. I mean, played against me and seen Danny. Danny's really good because I'll talk about Danny later, but as another source of masks, Danny probably would have been better than Catwoman. And he didn't go for Black Widow against me. And I will say, so in round 5, he hadn't seen the Atom team, and I kind of just like swamped him pretty fast. Then the semi-final games were a lot closer. He was only a couple of turns away. He set up the Green Lantern and Hawkgirl really fast, but because he was giving me so many other pieces to make my team really fast, my team was just faster. But the way he got the Hawkgirls and Green Lantern out was pretty impressive. He definitely worked it well. And then I wouldn't be surprised to see this team make an appearance. I mean, I know Lucan, for example, tried the Hawkgirl Green Lantern in his Atom team as kind of a pivot, and I kind of tried that too. So I think this team definitely kind of has legs, or the combo Hawkgirl Green Lantern definitely has a place. I just think you're lacking because your Hawkgirl is the mask character and she's the one you want to be attacking with when you have mask in your reserve. That kind of doesn't work together so well. You have to have another source of masks. So
yeah.
Strong team though.
I think it's a really interesting team, and I think it did add like 3 or 4 cards to your team to just like you're playing with.
Yeah, for sure. He could have also added Mimic, I guess, the 3-cost Mimic in that Catwoman slot, because then he would have had basically Mimic ramp.
Yeah.
Which might be really interesting, because you'd get a ton of dice that way.
Ton of bag burn.
Yeah. But, I don't know, apparently he smoked Michaela. Michaela was running a Tabaxi team, so...
Oh, wow.
Obviously, his bag ramp didn't affect him too bad. It was cool. It was a cool team. I just didn't really get to see it set up because he gave me too many pieces to help me.
That's the problem when you run so many globals.
Yeah.
If your opponent can make better use of them than you can.
For sure. And maybe if he'd slowed me down with Black Widow, that might have made a difference. But I think his was kind of like a bit like Ben's. It was a really focused team. And if you try and stray from that focus, it becomes less good. So yeah.
All right, moving on. This is Todd W. He had Bishop, Shriek, Boom Boom, Zatanna, Green Devil Mask, Hope Summers, Jean Grey, Billy Club, Ping, and Static Field.
Yeah, I didn't see any of his matches. I would like to have played him instead of RJ in the final because he had Zatanna global for me. That would have been super useful. But again, I think with Bishop, I mean that would be my guess. Hope Summers in is that a word? Hope Summers ring Bishop.
Yeah.
I asked him actually about the Jean Grey combo, and that's why Zatanna was in there, so he could guarantee Hope Summers level 3 for Jean Grey. Because at level 3 you're doing 3 damage each time they field a character.
Well, and the Zatanna works as a pretty good defensive tool up against an Adam team should he face up against one, because you're doing all those spinning up, and so you can deal damage. Not at the same rate, but if you have Bishop out, if you have Hope Summers copying Bishop or Bishop himself out, and you have Zatanna out, then the Adam player just basically gets shut down if they don't have another way around it.
That's true, I suppose. I haven't really thought about that, but yeah, that wouldn't be bad. I don't know. It's a good. I think it was Bishop. This is the second appearance of Bishop in the top 4. No.
Yes, it's the second appearance in the top 8.
Yeah, I should have run Bishop, huh?
Bishop seems good.
But yeah, Boom Boom Hope Summers did well for him. I think probably. I think he probably just got Bishop out as fast as possible, or Hope Summers in Bishop as fast as possible.
I would say Hope Summers into Bishop to get
and
it early.
Then chip away with Ping Boom Boom. Don't know. Yeah, another one. I don't really know how he set up. So
I mean, the idea is to do Hope Summers and Boom Boom, have both of them out, so you can be dealing 5 damage per Ping.
Sure, but I imagine he would be using Hope Summers on Bishop.
Well, you start off with Hope Summers on Bishop,
and then but how do you
get
KO?
Boom Boom out, and then you pivot Hope Summers over to Boom Boom to get the.
Then buy another Hope Summers, I guess so.
Yeah,
depends on the board state, most likely.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just depends if he wants to. If he's up against more aggressive teams like an Adam team, for example, or another Boom Boom team, he'd probably do Hope Summers on Bishop or Hope Summers on Jean Grey, since the defensive options on those are very low.
Mm-hmm.
And then
he said to me that he hadn't used Jean Grey at all. So
yeah, you were the one who was saying that. Okay, because I remember hearing or seeing somebody type out that the Hope Summers Jean Grey didn't really work for Todd. So you were the one that said that. Okay, so in this case, he probably built it for that purpose. Like, okay, well, this is what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
To help out against those lower defensive teams.
It's something I tried out in testing for sure, and it worked really well when Hope Summers came out level 3 quick enough. And that's kind of how I felt about Hope Summers Boom Boom in general. It just was really, really reliant on rolls.
And if your opponent didn't have Magic Missile Global or Unstable,
yeah, I wonder why he put Billy Club in. Billy Club doesn't really. I guess it gives him a static field. I don't know. I'm not seeing it, Todd, but you did super good. So
I like it. I would agree
that I would run, but...
Yeah, I would make a couple of changes, but the core of the team still looks good. The Bishop, Hope, Boom Boom, and I'd even have the Zatanna in there.
It's my third favorite team in the top 4.
That's saying something.
All right, let's go to your probably top one.
My least favorite team. Oh no, wait, my most favorite team. Yeah.
So this one is.
No, I don't know. I like Dane's team. Dane's team was really focused. I like that.
All right, here's someone that is going by the name of Ben S. Whoever the hell that is.
Wow, look, it's the best team in the meta right now. Oh, yeah.
Danny.
Right now.
Is it Danny Monstar?
Yeah, for like the cheating energy field global.
And then,
yeah.
Then Storm, Kate Bishop, Shriek, Mimic, the Atom. What is that guy? I keep missing him.
Atlas.
All right. Clayface, Energy Field, and Doomlance.
Mm-hmm.
So how did it all work out for you?
Fine until I got to the final.
Yeah.
Yeah, super good. I use most of my pieces. I think probably the Storm I changed to a 3-cost Storm. I don't really like having to buy Energy Field as a secondary 2-cost pivot, but it's not the worst thing in the world, I suppose. I could have sacrificed, but then again, against Ben's team, the cheap bolts helped me out. So, yeah, the idea is just basically Atom was super good. Key Bishop works really well for that team. Shriek, obviously. Atlas and Clayface for ramp. Energy Field was kind of set. That was kind of Nick's team. And then I was like, oh, what 2-cost mask can I use? Oh, Danny, she's really good because she basically is always guaranteed to be in your use pile whenever you want.
Seems legit.
Either because you roll her as masks or you put her in the field, you attack with her, and almost 100% of the time they let it through, I think.
No, we don't have to block it because they'll take more damage.
I think Danny got blocked one time in the whole of the tournament. So even just by herself, she's a constant source of chip damage. And in game 1 against Arj, that was like literally the only way I was staying anywhere near alive. She let me down a couple of times with bad rolls. But yeah, even then you can still like roll her on character face, let her go to the use, which is something Lucan pointed out to me actually. And was the thing that let Nick let me take back. So basically in game 2, me and Nick, I could have let Danny go to the use pile before the attack step, attacked with like a sidekick or something, then Clayface Danny in on a character to get the 2 masks I needed to win. If you understood all that.
Yeah, because you use her, you would.
So if
Clayface
you
her
go
into
into the
use
attack step,
her
any
energy
characters
field.
in the reserve pool go straight to the use pile, right? So you can
Yeah.
play Clayface. Yeah. So yeah, that was really good. And then Storm was basically ramp. In case they shut down Atom, I could keep my ramp up and then keep buying the control pieces. And then Mimic worked super well, especially against. Who did I play with Collector? I can't remember who I played.
Arj had Collector.
Yeah, no. I didn't. Don't get me started on Mimic against Arj's Collector. But against another Collector team I used Mimic and I copied his Parasite, then I copied his Collector. And it was super good.
It's always nice whenever it hits the copy, like whenever they both roll up character faces and you get the extra copy. It's
Mimic is just a fantastic piece for this team because anything that happens is good, right? Because if it KOs, it comes back and then it's either masks or more KOs. And if it copies, you're probably KOing something you want to copy anyway. So, my plan against Arj was to buy Mimic. And then game 1, I just couldn't roll masks to buy Mimic. And then game 3, I should have bought Mimic turn 1, and I bought 2 Dannies instead, which was really dumb and lost me the game. But yeah, no, super good piece. I wouldn't have changed that. I would have changed maybe the Storm, and then I would have kept everything the same pretty much. Apart from I didn't really buy Doom Lance, but it was a good pivot. So
yeah, if you can use your whole entire team, that means it's a pretty effective team.
Yeah, I bought every single piece, which the only piece, like I said, the only piece I only bought one time was Doom Lance, and that was in the final against Arj. That was the only piece I only bought one time. But yeah, very rarely do I buy every single piece on a team. So even like my Gold Dragon team, the one Nats, my Bard team, most of the time I didn't buy all the pieces. So yeah, it worked. I even bought Atlas one time. So there you go.
Moving up. And then to your least favorite team, Arj. So he had Danger Room, Black Canary, Norman Osborn, Shriek, Scarlet Witch, Kree Captain, Wrecker, The Collector, Static Field, and Villainous Pact. That's just a whole bunch of goodness on there. Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that holds this team back really is it has no ramp, right? It has Villainous Pact, and you kind of have to get lucky that you don't miss any characters, which he didn't against me. Apart from in game 2, where I just blitzed him, game 1 went horribly for me, and game 3, he like Kree Captain Wrecker, Kree Captain Collector, rolled them both first time, and you couldn't really do anything apart from that. It was great, a great choice, Wrecker, I guess. I'm blaming Lucan again for getting knocked out of the tournament because Lucan basically ran Atom against Arj a ton, to the point where he was forced to put Wrecker in. So Thanks for that, Lucan. And Rekka was just a great counterpoint to my team. But it wasn't just that. I mean, I think I could have dealt with Rekka. It was just stuff like Ard just outplayed me, really. Like, game 1, he was the game I bought Doomlance in, and he got Scarlet Witch out before I got Doomlance round. And then he would always shriek my shriek before I could shriek his Rekka. And that caused me another problem because you can't mimic Rekka. I couldn't buy mimics, so it didn't really matter. But yeah, I don't know. It just worked out really well for him. He had a couple of pieces. It was just, this team is just annoys me because it was really obvious. And was something
shenanigans, you know.
Yeah, and it was something, you know, everyone tested. I would guess everyone tested this team. Black Canary, Norman Osborn, Pivot. But I guess no one tested it as well as Arj did, or played it as well as Arj did. Also, I would never run Rekka because I hate Rekka. I like globals too much. He was just willing to not have fun with the game and just win. So there you go. I don't know, man. Rekka's just miserable. Like, it was just a miserable game. We were like putting 12 dice into our bag, and he was just pulling what he needed, and I was not pulling what I needed, and he was rolling what he needed, and I was not rolling what I needed. And that's kind of the game Rekka makes it into.
Well, Wrecker seems to slow down just enough to make Collector viable again. You know, you know, without the globals, without the ramp.
Sure, but you also have to time Rekka so that you've got everything you need.
No, I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying, I'm a huge fan of Collector teams, and I've stated many times on here that I didn't think, you know, a Collector team would be competitive at this level.
In your face?
I think, I
don't think Collector. I still don't believe that Collector.
Yeah, but I think Wrecker
outside of because I don't think like Arj is really good, and I don't think anyone else could have won the tournament playing that team.
That's fair.
I think, like I'm saying, I think anyone could have with Atom could have won the tournament. I don't think anyone running this collector could have won the tournament. I will say though that Ross almost beat him, so I wish Ross had beaten him.
Well, and Reg has
Ross
a
stupidly
prediction. Reg saying he thinks on the Fog Nats this weekend, everyone's going to be running Wrecker just to mess with you now.
Oh, but we're banning, like, Atom's dead, so...
What? Why is it dead?
Yes,
are you banning it?
No,
Energy
Troy made the proactive move to change energy fields global to read another character instead of the same character. So you're spinning a character down just like you would do with the mutation global or the polymorph global. You're spinning one of your characters down to spin another character up, because energy field gets around that by saying to spin a character up, not another.
Which, having spoken to PK and a couple of other people at the tournament, was 100% the intention of the global. Like, it wasn't meant to be this thing. It wasn't meant to be this thing where you...
Why haven't they ruled on it that way?
Because by the time they were like, we need to rule on this, it was like, oh, we're testing for US Nats and everyone is going to run that team. That's why, because it was too close to Nats for them to make any kind of decision. That's what I was told by the rules team.
So I'm just going to put this out there that Arj, during the OBW online event, one of the biggest contributing factors to the top 8 teams was the presence of Black Canary Danger Room. Best of two worlds together on that, because Black Canary Danger Room is just fantastic, and it's super nutty.
It's all right. Like, I don't know. I just find this team all right.
Well, no, and I agree with you that he was the only one who could have made it work, because I look at this team and I'm like, first of all, there's no energy fixers. There's no guaranteed way that you're going to get 2 fists and a mask when you need it, which is generally on turn 3, plus another mask to villainous pack. Like, this is just the energy requirements, the energy specific requirements alone are enough to give any other player a headache.
Freaking Lucan, like in Worlds, I don't know. They would just buy it. They're using Creek out. I don't know how they roll fists. they must test their dice for fists because
Do
like
they get the Canadian wizard to sprinkle powder
I
on
don't
their
bloody
hands?
know because fix it was bad enough, right? Like you have to roll 3 fists and it's more expensive. So Lucan definitely like did some more magic than Arch did, but I don't know. I was still rolling 3 fists at like turn 2 or turn 1 against me to buy record because that was the first purchase he made, like
All the
in
time.
game 1 and 3.
But yeah, the only way Rare Record would ever work in my eyes is because of the collector. Those two go hand in hand because the collector just gives you that added flexibility to do
Sure.
whatever you need to do outside of globals.
Sure, but you need to buy. You just need to be able to buy both of them. It also just like it honestly just makes the game so miserable. Like there's just no ramp, there's no churn, which is the two things I like about the game, like manipulating your dice bag and your pool. That's my favorite thing to do in the game, and my record just is like, nope. I was like, okay, well, no Clayface, no like fancy bag management. Like, okay, just all right, fine.
How close were you to flipping the table playing him because you couldn't ramp?
No, it was fine. Like the game. Well, to be honest, game 1, I should have like given up halfway through because I literally couldn't roll. I couldn't buy Kate Bishop and I couldn't buy Mimic because I just couldn't roll masks. And every time I rolled Danny, she'd roll in character face, which was fine, except I had no other masks to then Clayface her in to get masks. I literally couldn't roll masks at all.
Wait, is Record 3 defense on all sides?
No, just level 1 and level 2. He also rolled record on level 3
Oh.
in level game 1 and game 3.
Oh, jeez.
And he's one
Game
defending
2,
the whole entire
game
time.
2, I beat Arj in like 5 minutes. It was really quick. I beat him like turn 5.
Because your rolls lined up?
Yeah, and he didn't get Wrecker or Collector, so he didn't win. And then game 3, I just messed up because game 2 went so well. I was just like, okay, I can blitz him again, and I couldn't.
For lack of a better word.
I should have bought Mimic. Yeah, I should have bought Mimic straight out the gate, so I could have just kept killing his Collector. And that would have been a lot better. But I don't know. He just had a knack for getting Wrecker out after he'd bought Collector, then pulling Collector like the next turn, rolling it.
Yeah, just thinking about the turn structure and the purchase order, and it's just a nightmare for me to just look at this team and go,
I
man,
hate it. Yeah, it's just stupid.
Like how could you consistently turn 3 purchase Wrecker, turn 4 purchase Collector, and roll them
And
out?
to be fair, I don't think he was. I don't know. I don't want to speak for him, but I feel like he got really lucky against me in the matchup it was. He obviously had Wrecker in to stop Atom, and that was a very good pick. And luck is a bad word, but in all his other matches, he went to time. I think he seemed to be playing whenever I was finished playing.
I mean, this team lends it. The Collector teams
and
lend
it does
themselves
really,
to
yeah.
running
So
the time.
he did super well to be able to play like chunky games like that and still remain consistently able to pull off what he was doing. He's just a super good player. I don't know. It's just garbage. Screw him. No, he's also like the stupidly nicest guy. It's really annoying.
So as he's
Like, why can't someone
destroying you-
like I feel like when I beat people, it's fine because I'm a bit of a jerk anyway. So they can hate me, it's fine.
But when they beat you,
When I
you
lose
want
to
them to
someone
be a
who's
jerk.
nice. Yeah. I don't want to lose to nice people that I like because that's rubbish.
So you prefer Bond villains to beat you?
Yeah. I don't want to. You don't want to lose to James Bond because that makes you the bad guy.
Yeah.
You want to lose to like name of James Bond villain. Insert name of James. I don't.
But the thing is,
Goldfinger.
you would have to deal with them
Yeah.
explaining to you how they're going to beat you with their team in quite
Yeah,
detail.
I do that all the time. You don't do that, Chris?
No, I don't.
Nah, just watch here while I just move this piece here. And just gonna
So
roll.
Chris, what you should have done right then was you should have done this, but you didn't. So I'm sorry. Now
Yeah.
I'm going to do this, and you're going to
Yeah,
lose.
exactly.
So Ben,
That's what I do when I beat people.
While we still
Yeah,
got you here, I wanted to also segue over to something that Reg is doing with the league that we've got going on, and I wanted you to talk a little bit about your experience with that lately. and how you think that's going, and what are your like kind of first impressions of the league? Because we're testing it right now, and I wanted to see what you thought.
Yeah, it's okay. I like the idea of 2-player. I like the point kind of scoring system he has. I don't know. I don't know if there's a real. Well, the team building's fine. I guess the team building isn't quite as challenging as I want it to be. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how you'd fix that. But the idea is to basically do a campaign box that one group chooses and a team pack that the other team chooses, and you kind of pair them together and build something from that. And yeah, I don't know. It's been okay so far. I don't know. We had a fun match. Well, I enjoyed my match last time because I was playing as Kim and she was running a Turtles team, and I was using Leatherhead. And I don't know if you guys know what Leatherhead does, but basically it's basically Blob, the rare Blob, but for one Turtles character. And I don't know if you know anything about running Turtles, but like Leatherhead, Metalhead is like the good way to win with Turtles because he makes all the other Turtles unblockable. But I like Leatherheaded Metalhead. So many heads. But like, I made it so she couldn't buy Metalhead like on turn 3. Her game plan was just ruined because he started buying like unstable canisters.
So
I enjoyed it tremendously.
Just to make sure I understand how the format works,
Yeah.
Joe and Ben, you guys are a team, and
Yep.
one team picks a campaign box, the other team picks a team pack.
Team pack, yeah.
Now, when the two, you as a team are building your teams, if someone uses one card, is that card still available to the other player, or is it literally just whatever physically is in there you guys would build out of, even though you're not in the same location?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So you can only use.
It's closer to the best way to describe the team building process is you're taking half of a 2-team takedown team, and the other player is taking the other half.
Right, with a very restricted pool. You've got a campaign box and team set.
And then so I should elaborate a little bit more. What Reg is testing out is he's testing out a sort of league limited format where every week and it's a round robin between 6 teams. And it's basically you play each team as you do 2 games. So both players play the other player in each match. And then what you do is if you're the home team, you pick the campaign box and or the set. And if you're the away team, you pick the team packs. And that's your restricted pool. And then you play from there, and you get points based on how well you did. If you went to time, you get less points than if you were to just play a normal game and beat the person in the normal game. And you also get additional, like, he's tracking how much life you have collectively that your team has collectively after every match as well.
So using the life point totals as a tiebreaker type thing.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing with that. What is he doing with that?
What's that?
What is he doing with that? I don't know what he's doing with the.
Yeah, so what he has is he has a running tally of which team has the most life points. Okay. Basically, if you won the game at 20-0, that gives you plus 20 life points to your total. So right now, I think the highest team is the Latveria Dooms, I think, and they have upwards of like 100 and something life, whereas like you and I, Ben, are sitting, because I'm trash, you and I are sitting at like 58 life points or 60s, mid 60s.
That is some garbage. Why? Who are the Latveria Dooms?
Oh my god, your cat behind you's eyes are glowing.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So I have one last question, at least for now,
cat?
On this.
What cat are you talking about?
There was a cat back there. Unless your house is haunted.
There's no cat back there.
It moved towards you.
No, there's no cat back there.
It's right behind you.
That's not a cat.
No, there was a cat. It walked away.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That was crazy.
But who came up with the team names?
So that was a collaboration. Reg put out a little poll in the
Yeah,
general
I
Discord.
remember the original poll and whatnot. I was just, did you guys actually get to pick your team name from the list, or was it assigned to you, or did you actually just come up with your own? And what is your guys' team?
Well, Ben, being the gentleman he is, allowed us to be named the Balder Beholders because I wanted to go for that. Not his first choice, and he said, "I'm not going to tell you what he said."
Yeah, I really like any of the names. So there you go.
Yeah,
They're meant
so
to be
it's
like
just like,
they're
all
meant to
right.
be like plays like American football style team names, right? High school team names. So
Right.
whatever. They're not my thing. I like proper English football team names.
Ooh, excuse
Sensible
me.
things named after where you're from.
What would it be? Canadian.
I'm not from Canadian.
You're there now, so you'd be playing like you got drafted
Canada's
by
like a massive place, yo.
Well, you know.
Why so American? Trying to pigeonhole us all as the same.
You're the top hat of America. That's all we know.
Okay, that's fine. I'll take that.
But
it's going well so far. It's fun to play with some stuff that you wouldn't normally play with, I guess. Like I tried out the four-cost magic yesterday. The one with energizing you roll dice. It's pretty cool. I like that. And yeah, I played with turtles a couple of times, but it's fun to break them out again. So it's good. It's just a good way to cycle through some old sets, and there's a little bit of cooperation with the team. I think we haven't team built well enough together. Joe, I will say that we haven't really discussed what we're building first before we play. We're kind of just like
the
last
day
minute.
before?
Yeah. No, the day before is far too long.
So that's I share a lot of responsibility with that, or I share a lot of the fault with that because I'm just so busy. Like a lot of times I'm just like, oh crap, and then.
Well, to be fair, I missed.
Yeah.
I missed the second game, right? So.
Yeah, and so I mean, it's like
who was
fair
that
enough.
Is that the Latveria Dooms? Is that why we lost? Did we lose that game? That round?
We didn't lose that one. No, we lost that one because neither of us were there to play. We had subs.
Oh, what? You didn't play either.
Yeah, I didn't play. It was Matt and Ross.
Yeah, no, they brought me in, and I just kind of went, whatever.
Wait, no, who was? So it was Matt and who was it? Matt and
for me. He was subbing for me, and Matt was subbing for you. And I gave Matt the team that you chose. That out of the two teams that I built that night, you were like, oh well, this one's pretty good. Why don't you run with this one? And so I gave Matt that one.
I don't remember.
And he did really well with it. Matt lost the other, and Ross lost both of his. And so because of that,
Ross, why was Ross playing? Ross was Ross was like having too much fun at Origins. To play seriously.
He was actually playing from his hotel room. That was the funny part.
Yeah. Okay, well, we have to come back from this loss.
I think if they had a third alternate on the team, so if something like that happens, you have someone to step in and kind of like a coach type thing.
To be fair, two alternates for a two-team, two-person team.
There just needs to be a in general alternate for the league in total. So it's like, someone's not able to make it. We already have someone scheduled to be there, type thing. They don't need to be assigned to an individual team or anything.
Yeah,
like
sure.
That,
that's all for fun.
Matt and Ross are supposed to be the subs for any of the teams. They're not exclusively tied to one team or another.
Okay.
Which meant they lost on purpose.
Exactly how I would have done it. Oh, you need me here? Done. Whatever. You win. Good night.
Let's
have some Lemoncello, folks. Come on.
To be fair, I didn't give Ross a rundown of my team, and he figured it out pretty well. He did a good job piloting it. Honestly, I just don't think the roles lined up for him on that second game. And Matt, I mean, Matt's a great player anyway. So the team list that you finalized and that I provided him, Ben, it was good.
I have no recollection of this team, but okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, so I built 2 of them, and then I showed them both to you, and you were like, no, you're gonna run with this one, and
Okay.
you were like, just change this one card out, and I was like, okay. And then once I did that, I handed that one off to Matt, and then I made the
Well,
other list.
having met Ross in person, I'm pretty sure he's open to bribes. So there you go. Not starting any rumors. I just heard
Oh my god.
that Ross was open to bribes.
But anyway, so getting back on track, it
taking
was
blame.
a lot of fun. We had that little dip. We're back on top though, Ben, because of course you're carrying us. I
Yeah.
think I've won maybe 2 games out of the 6 games that we've played or 8 games we've played so far.
Yeah, I almost lost both my games yesterday. So
Oh, geez.
I
just know
didn't, but
I just know that every time we play, out of the 35 minutes, you're always checking in 15 minutes in, and you're like, hey, so what's going on? And I'm like losing horribly. I feel really
last
bad.
night I was super tired as well. I was like, need to get through this game as fast as possible.
Joe, hurry up, win or lose. It just needs to be done.
That was his attitude last night, and I understand why, because he was tired. Like, he just gotten back from Origins and he had to work. So, but anyway,
it's been fun, and it's good to play with distinct setups. And limiting. Yeah, I don't know if the campaign box and team pack. I liked it better yesterday where we did like Turtles and X-Force because you wouldn't put those 2 together. But like the week before was both X-Men stuff, and then the week before that was stuff that went together.
That's just up to the the other.
It is. It's random. Yeah, it's random.
Pick whatever they want, so they can either try to pick something to limit the availability of things.
Sure, and I'm just saying I'd like a way to manipulate that further. I guess I don't know if like
to suit you a little bit better.
No, just to make it more interesting, right? Like so you could have like you chose one card that each team had to run.
So I'd like to add that we're in the testing phase of it, and Reg and I were talking about just completely randomizing it at the beginning of the season. So no matter what, you're gonna have your list of teams that are list of sets that everybody's gonna have to build from 3 and go down that way. So on week 1, they're only gonna have these 2 sets to play from. Week 2 is gonna be a different, completely randomized and predetermined before the start of the series. And that way, it's truly randomized. You have a little bit more time than just, oh, hey, Ben, what are we going to play?
Mm-hmm.
And so now we can go for like, okay, this is what we're doing week 2. This is what we're doing week 3.
Yeah, and that'd be kind of more interesting, right? Because that actually lead to like us discussing, this week we're playing against this team. We know they like doing this, so let's try and like.
Yeah.
And I think if the teams that you're playing, they could pick 1 or 2 cards to ban that you can't play the week.
That'd be interesting as well, something like that.
I was thinking is maybe as a team gets higher up in the rankings, their opponent could get to be able to ban a card from them and
do like handicaps.
Right, you have a handicap to try to keep the playing field level, so your last place team is still going to be able to be competitive against your first place type teams, and that's a week of type enforcement, because your standings are constantly going to change. So again, you guys may know on week 3 it's going to be Fair and Under Siege and Green Arrow Flash as the 2 sets. I'm just pulling 2 out of my head there. Sure. You've built your team, but then it comes the week of, and someone goes, "Oh yeah, you guys are first place team, so we get to hit you with 2 bans. We're gonna get rid of this and this, which were 2 cards you would build your teams around." Now
that would be difficult if you were doing an initial setup, though, right? Like, so if you were doing that, you'd kind of have to stick to a similar format as to now,
right?
But I kind of like the idea. I kind of like the idea of like. Just making the team building aspect and the fact that you have another person to bounce ideas off, like even more crucial to the format. Like just do the tactics and strategy part, make that more prevalent because right now me and Joe are literally just building teams the day before and just being like,
Right.
maybe other teams
But,
are doing something different.
It's also, so if you're in first place, you have cards that are banned against you. If you are in last place, say there's certain cards that doesn't matter what set they're in, they are now available to you to build with. So something along those lines. Just throwing out ideas. Reg.
Yeah,
I'm not
so
sure if
right now,
still there.
Reg, listening, because these are all really good ideas, but right now he's just banned. He only has the super rares in each of the blind products to keep it balanced.
Right.
As far as competitive meta and team building goes, I think if he chooses to expand it to certain other sets, older sets, and he can kind of mix and mash. It doesn't have to be like 100% modern. It doesn't have to be 100% golden. It could be like 2 sets from golden with 2 sets from modern as your pool, but yet still banning some of the more oppressive cards. I don't think a ban per team would, unless it was predetermined at the beginning of the series.
I don't know,
for
but it'd be
example,
kind of cool to have like we're doing Guardians this week, but no one can use Collector.
Yeah, I think that would be good if it was determined at the beginning of the series instead of
Well, I mean,
the week of.
I guess it depends if you're keeping the same format as you are now, where you choose what sets you're doing each week, or you have the idea of this is what sets we have to choose from.
Yeah, because I can tell you from experience from this last week, we should have banned Danny Moonstar because she was the MVP for both of the games.
I didn't have any problem against it, but that's just me.
But you know what I mean, like you ban that one powerful card out of the whole thing.
I mean, I
don't
know. I disagree. Well, just because you had a good game, like Danny Moonstar was really used because against like me, it didn't really cause a problem, right? And I don't know, cards like that, like Shriek, I would ban because I don't think Danny Moonstar is that level. So that's why I think maybe your opponent should choose, right? Because they would be able to determine that.
And that's what I'm saying. It's one of those, again, if you are, if you're going up against a higher ranked team, depending on how many ranks above or whatnot, that you get certain, ways to handicap them.
Yeah, I like that idea.
For you, again, just to help keep that playing field level a little bit,
Or like, even if there's a handicap of like, oh, this team like only lost 10 life in their 4 matches last week. This week, that means they lose 2 cards to choose from.
Right. Yeah. I mean, just something that makes the team building part of it a little bit more dynamic. It's not just, oh, here's this set. It's because we're doing so well, we got this set, but not these cards from that set. Whereas, we're not doing really well in the tournament, so we've got this set plus these extra cards from these other sets, available to us.
Something like every week people get to ban one card that they can't someone can't play from a team pack or from the thing, but the person that's in the lower place picks first, so they have
another option. We're talking banning cards and
on a weekly basis,
adding cards and stuff like that. What about modifying the dice count?
I don't know about that because that's not really a proper game of Dice Masters at that point. It's kind of taking up.
Anyway, the point is that there's lots of options for Reg to look at, and it's been good so far. It just needs a little bit of tweaking.
Yeah, and I mean it's super enjoyable. Like Ben was saying, it's really fun to play. Especially the more wonky matchups like we had Turtles and X-Force, and even through all of that, the reason why I brought up Danny Moonstar is because there was a really neat little thing that Ryan did with his team, and he put Casey Jones to force sidekicks to block his Danny Moonstar. And that was
Ryan,
awesome.
I'm like, what did I play? I didn't.
I know. His name is Raw Travel on Discord. But anyway, so it's kind of like you can find little.
Do you know what the best thing about that is, though?
What?
In my match, he didn't realize that, and I told him. Then I was like, "Hey, she's back against Joe."
You know how you can beat Joe? So now we know why Joe's not doing as well, is because you're giving the opponents the heads up.
I know,
no, he's doing what we said earlier. You know what? You should have done this, but because you didn't, I'm going to do this, and now you're done.
Well, that's Ben, though. Ben cannot stay away from coaching.
When I saw that combo, I was like, "Oh yeah, that is pretty good." And then because he fielded Danny and kept behind. He could have bought like a Foot Ninja, but he decided not to. He decided to buy something crap. I had to keep behind a fist, and I was like, "Oh, that means he's gonna. Oh, that's a really good combo because he can block like my sidekick and like maybe reroll, do 2 damage." And then he just swang with Danny, and I was like, "Okay," I just let it through. And then he pumped it by 1, and I was like, "Okay, that's all right." But
Yeah,
he could have done that other thing.
Yeah, he had this really weird setup, and I don't know. I thought it was intentional, but I mean, after you pointed it out, he probably streamlined his plays a little bit more because I
Yeah,
think
for sure.
Casey Jones's global is you can do it more than once per
Yeah, you
turn,
could,
and that's
yeah.
nice. And so, like, he could have literally had, because I was rolling sidekicks for the first 3 turns. So at one point in time, I had 6 sidekicks, and he could have just been like, "All right, well, I'm going to spend 4 fists to make you block and deal 8 damage to you right there."
Yeah, I've well, because apparently I've lost my Casey Jones dice, but after I saw that combo last night, I was like, oh, I'm gonna build a team around that. But I don't know where my Casey Jones dice are. But yeah, it's a good combo.
But anyway, so those neat interactions are what can come from the league, and I really like that because it gives everybody a chance that's involved, and everybody should participate whenever we actually get the thing going and it's official. Everybody should really look forward to that, dusting off their older sets, dusting off the cards they don't use as much, especially if we're going to be including bannings at the beginning of the series for certain sets. Then you could just be like, all right, well, I'm going to bring out my all vanilla teams and get the Vixens and the Ghost Riders and all that stuff out.
Yeah. So, yeah, as soon as they're done with the testing phase of it, for the most part, more people are probably going to be invited to join the league, and I'd be interested to do it because I'm not going to be putting on the league, so I can actually play and enjoy it and everything like that, and hopefully have someone I can talk to and build teams with.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the important part about that.
I think it'd be cool if you could choose your teammate, honestly.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I kind of like the randomized aspect of it. I do. I like the randomizing because it kind of puts you into this, like, hey, let's.
Can you do trades? Ben, can you trade your players?
Yeah.
How much are we talking here for a transfer fee?
I'll give you 5 dice in your next game if you let me.
So, I wanted to say real quick that I did talk to the store owner here. For those of you who are local, we've got 2 really big things coming up that I can make an announcement on right now. And that first one is that Magic Fest is coming to the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Fort Worth especially.
And it'll be held at the Fort Worth Convention Center. And that's going to be at the end of June. It's going to be the last weekend of June. So from Thursday to Sunday is when they're going to be holding events all day long. And so I'd really recommend anybody who watches or listens to the channel who likes any of our content, Dice Masters or Magic Wise, go out there if you want to meet us. Some of us will be there at different points and different times. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be out there Friday and parts of Saturday, and maybe a little bit of Sunday. But I can't make the trip as easily as Chris could because he lives closer to that area.
I live.
So for me, it's So for me, it's a 40-minute drive to Chris's 20-minute drive.
Yeah. So I might try to make every single day. I don't know, depending on how much it costs.
That'll be good. No, it doesn't cost anything to enter. It only costs to enter the main events. The side events, they'll have tables set up for Commander or whatever you want to do, and they also have other side events that you can pay to play. So if you guys want to meet me, Chris, Rob, and play some Commander with us, or just talk or draft, we'll be up there for those things. Definitely. As well as other Magic personalities that are going to be there. Some of your other favorite personalities are going to be there, coming in from like Canada and Washington, places like that.
And they will probably have booths, whereas we will not.
We will not. We'll try to grab a side table, which, I mean, it works that way with some of the other personalities too. They don't ever show up with a booth handy unless the convention people want them to. The second part, which is actually more pertinent and more relevant to Dice Masters, is I did get a confirmation with my local game store, Boardwalk, we will be holding a Dice Masters open house. For those of you who have followed us and listened to us to this point, who are interested in learning more about Dice Masters in general, how to play the game, and to experience what a tournament or draft setting would be like for this game, we will be holding that on July 20th. It'll be that, and that's a Saturday. So I'm going to create an official event on our Facebook group for both Dice Masters Unlimited as well as DFW Dice Masters. So if you're in the area or you're going to be in the area that weekend, feel free to stop on by. They've purchased enough product to where we can run a draft tournament up to 32 entrants. And if not all 32 entrants show up, then we'll have extra product for you guys to purchase. And there may or may not be OP kits, and I'm going to be contributing some of the pricing. In addition to that tournament that we're going to be running all day long, we will have setups. I will bring parts of my collection, and I'm trying to get other people to bring their collections as well to kind of do playthrough games and sample games from each of the current campaign box sets. We will have from Warhammer, we'll have from the Justice set, Avengers Infinity, as well as X-Men. We'll have displays and sort of sample teams set up, and we'll have people ready to kind of give you step-by-steps and walkthroughs of how to play the game.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to be on vacation that week, so I won't be there. But you know, Joe, I'll see what I can come up with, maybe prize-wise support, to help you out on stuff. So
Hey man, that'd be great. And I think Chris, you and Rob said you were going to try to make it out there.
Oh yeah.
So
I know Steven is going to try to be out there as well. So
yeah, so we'll have a lot of locals. We'll have a lot of local people showing up. So I'm really excited to make this announcement because I've been working on it for the last couple of weeks, and I always love to kind of grow the scene, especially since it was dying there for a little bit due to unfortunate circumstances. Our local scenes were kind of dying, not through WizKid's fault, but just certain things happened all at the same time. And a lot of people kind of fell out of the scene, and I'm trying to get it started back up. And we also figured it would be a really good idea to have all those viewers that follow us and listen to us for our Magic content to kind of get an idea of what Dice Masters is and why we talk about it so much.
And why people that have played both, some of them say that Dice Masters is just flat out better.
Yeah, that's actually a very popular consensus that a couple of the people that we met that immediately went and did a draft tournament came back and they were like, I have to play this game every day now. Because for one, it's more affordable than Magic is. To buy an entire set, you would spend less than it costs to buy a mid-tier or low-tier standard deck.
Yeah.
Which is amazing considering that that's how much you pay for 60 cards versus getting 80 plus cards and the corresponding dice.
Yeah. All right. So,
well, Chris, I think we're about 30 minutes over here, so we probably need to wrap this one up.
We'll be talking about more about the open house in the coming weeks to make sure everyone knows about what's going on, and we'll try to see if other people can talk about it a little bit, perhaps. But
yeah, I'll have more details. But as of right now, I just wanted to get that announcement out there and make sure that everybody was pumped and ready for that.
All right, so I think that's gonna do it. Thanks, Ben, for talking about the U.S. Nats. You're storming through the world.
Yeah. Or maybe I'll see you at Worlds.
Oh, that'd be so awesome.
I know.
That would be so awesome.
I'm very poor now, so that's fun.
All right, well, that's gonna do it for us here at CR Game Room. Come on, there we go. All right, be sure to like, subscribe, be more social with us on Discord, and thanks for coming and watching our stupid faces. Bye.
Bye.